right, folks, it's another episode of America's Hometown Horror, and as always, we have a full episode, a jam-packed episode, if I shall say, tonight. So why don't we jump right the fuck in and first lead off with where you can find us online if you are interested in those of things. First place is our website, which is ahpod.com, ahhpod.com. Head on over there for our blog and finding out more about our show. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, along with like Letterboxd and probably some other places. If you're on that platform, just search for America's Hometown Horror and you will find us. And if you're so inclined, you can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com if you want to give feedback about the show or give us ideas. We're open to all of those things. Also, our two partners in crime tonight, first of which is Horror Facts Magazine. You can find them at horrorfacts.com, a great resource for any horror fan for news, reviews, editorials, and lots of horror podcasts, including America's Hometown Horror. And last but certainly not least, we are now an affiliate of Fangoria magazine, first name in fright since 1979. We're so grateful for our partnership with Fangoria. Head on over to shop.fangoria.com/hometownhorrorpod, or you can just use the code hometownhorrorpod at checkout for an exclusive 20% discount on all merchandise or first-time magazine subscriptions. So head on over to Fangoria and get yourself some fresh merch to kick off 2023, or at this point, we are almost in April, so you can't kick off the year, but you can certainly go through the middle of the year with some dope from Fangoria.
Can I make a new word?
Yes. Furch?
Like fresh merch?
It would be frurch, I believe, is what you're trying to... I believe it's the word you're looking for.
Or frummerch.
Frummerch, yes.
Frummerch.
All right,
Frummerch.
and as you can
Frummerch.
clearly hear, I'm joined by my
First merch?
esteemed co-hosts.
I think I like first merch.
Guys, it's the three amigos tonight. Andrew, Kat, hello.
Hola.
What's going on?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Matt unfortunately had to take tonight off due to some unforeseen circumstances, but be back next week to, I'm sure, bestow all sorts of horror-related knowledge all up on our asses. But guys, it's going to be fun going with what we did for probably almost the first 2 years of the show. Mm-hmm. And again, we're not 3 years old yet, but we will be coming up on year 3 in December, right?
Sometimes I feel like I'm 3 years old.
Our third calendar year.
That's just more mentally, though, than anything. It happens.
So what's new? How are we doing, guys?
What are we doing?
Fantastic.
You're both wearing sideways, backwards hats right now.
I couldn't let Kat be cooler than me, so I had to make sure that I put it on awkwardly.
I mean, I
sideways,
do wish that we had
backwards.
some sort of video component right now so we could see how ridiculous the two of you look. Kat looks like Punky Brewster. Andrew, you just look like a weirdo with your backwards sideways
Wow,
hats.
that's really cold.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow.
I think I
How
look
about that?
pretty fucking cool.
You are
Dick.
both. You're both pretty cool. I
No,
love
she's
you
not.
both very much.
I'm cool.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I'm cool.
Kat's a
I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of bickering between you two in this episode.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling.
I'm ready. I got my
Can't wear my
daggers
hair
out.
like that anymore.
Guys, we
Oh, I
have
can
some
take a
news
picture.
to report as Kat takes her picture of the two of them in their hats. So, go ahead.
Posing for a...
Go ahead, Kat. Go ahead. Pose for your picture. Go ahead. Do your thing. Yep, there you go. All right, we're good. So, guys, as I mentioned before, we're on our third calendar year. We're about to be 3 years old in December, and we've been trying to put ourselves out there for things that we're trying to do aside from the podcast, whether it be interviews or live events or that type of thing, and we haven't gotten to do all of them just yet. But over the last month plus, I am happy to be able to finally report that all of us have been working behind the scenes with our good friend Andy from Inebriart on an event that we are going to be bringing to Mayflower Brewery this coming October 28th,
It's gonna be
2023. No, not Brockton. Mayflower Brewery in Plymouth.
Why would it be Brockton?
It is called the Hometown Homps.
It's called the Hometown Homps and Launch.
Homps and Launch. It is called the Hometown Haunts and Hops Convention, presented by America's Hometown Horror and Inebriart. Guys, I know that we have been kind of keeping all of these details in for a while. Are we excited to bring some news about this event?
I'm so excited for the humps.
Homps and hops.
Haunted Homps and Homps. It's my
My
favorite
humps.
time of year.
Yeah.
No, Kat did a fantastic logo for this.
I was going to say, yes. So
props to
if
you.
if you have seen either the Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook page for this event, or just the posts that we've shared from our social media, you can see the excellent logo that Kat designed. For those of you that don't know, or if you're new to the show, Kat is our resident graphic designer, as this is what she does for a career, and she's very, very, very good at it.
Thank you.
So she designed our excellent logo for the show, along with our birthday logo, along with our Christmas logo, and now she has designed the logo for the Hometown Hops and Haunts convention. There we go. I said it that time.
There you go.
The correct way.
Good job.
In case anyone's wondering what the logo looks like, it may look like, I don't know if you've ever seen it
You
before.
guys right now.
You may not know.
No.
But it's actually a skeleton wearing a hat with a pint
beer.
of beer. Probably never seen that logo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. That's a good logo.
What a dick.
You didn't steal it. It's fine.
You're such
I
a
haven't
dick.
seen
Steal
it.
it.
Like,
So the logo is a
you draw
skeleton,
it?
a skeleton
No.
Oh,
wearing
that would've
a pilgrim hat, holding a stein of beer.
he should have had a turkey leg in one hand.
That would have been
Could
really
we go?
cool.
Could we do that? Or no, like not a turkey leg, like a femur, like someone's entire leg with their foot showing. That would be kind of fucked up.
Would be kind of fun. I think the logo that Kat did is nice and
It's
clean
subtle,
and very
it's
good.
clean, but if it's horror-
yeah.
Should be eating a leg of human.
I think it's plenty horror right now, to be honest. But anyway, so the logo's out there.
I want
Head
an
on over.
alternate logo for T-shirts for the
Andrew's
cool
alternate
guys.
logo.
Like this is for the real horror fans. Do you like legs being eaten?
So, guys, if you're listening to this, I would implore you to please head on over to Facebook, Twitter, and or Instagram, if not all three, and search for the Hometown Haunts and Hops Convention. Search for it, and please follow us on all of those social media platforms. We will be giving you updates. This is something that we are trying to do every single year, but this is going to be the inaugural version of this convention. We are looking for vendors. We're looking for artists. We're looking for authors. We're looking for movie directors. We're looking for celebrities. We are looking to do live podcasts, trivia, exclusive panels, and so on and so forth, I should say. So we are in the beginning planning stages of this. I wouldn't even say the beginning planning stages. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We're well within the planning stages of, and we're trying to work out the logistics, I should say, if I could only speak. And I'm very excited to bring this to you guys, to the Plymouth community. You know, we do call ourselves America's Hometown Horror for a reason, because we are a Plymouth-based podcast. So any way that we can be involved in, you know, the local Plymouth area and bring some fun and spooky things to our community, I'm all on board for. So, yeah, guys, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Skeet, skeet.
You know what would be kind of cool is that we got some food vendors to make like spooky, like some deviled eyeballs.
Ooh, like you can put your hand in a
Get it?
hole and like figure
Deviled.
out what it is and be like, this is brain.
It's
You're like,
it's
"Ooh."
sketty. It's
Yeah.
brain.
Here's your braised ruptured loin.
So let me ask you two this,
Whatever that is.
guys. I did mention that there are going to be live podcasts at this event, which we
Includes
are
us.
slated to do.
I would hope so.
Are you guys ready to do a podcast in front of a live audience?
No,
No?
not at all.
I'm ready
Nope.
to dabble
Okay.
in
No,
the madness.
that's absolutely terrifying.
At least Kat's being honest about it.
I'm gonna have my back to whoever.
I'm
going
gonna
to
have a stroke, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of time to prepare, and
There's no way, unless we do live podcasts somewhere, I'm not gonna be prepared.
well,
No, there's no preparing.
And
We'll-
that's
we'll-
not
we'll
happening.
figure it
No,
out.
we're
We'll
just
figure
gonna
it out.
wing it, and we're gonna be great.
as they say
and
on the classic '90s animated Nicktoon show, Rocko's Modern Life, just bring the entire audience. Okay.
We're not like sitting up on a stage podcasting.
Then yes, that is
Kind of.
exactly what we'll be doing.
Kind of, yes.
That is the exact thing that we'll be doing.
How big of a stage, though? 2 feet off the ground. 6 feet off the
Let me put
ground?
it this way. I mean, Mayflower, you know the size of their rooms. Like, I would say we're going to be in a room that can probably hold maybe 30 or 40 people. So,
We need to talk about this again at a later
We need
date.
to have a lot of
Off
topics
of the air.
to bring up. But I like it. I'm ready for it. The world
something that
needs more
craziness.
horror
Yes,
podcasts.
absolutely. And guys, just so you know as well, if you are interested in this event, obviously we appreciate the support. You can head on over to inebriart.com. That's INEBRI-art.com. Click on their events page, and you can purchase tickets for this event. Right now, they're only $5 at this point. At some point, I can tell you, there's going to be a higher ticketed price for exclusive stuff. But if you get in now, you'll get all the fun stuff at the event for
Don't
a
wait.
lower price.
Well, also, now that everyone knows that I'm going to be there. Ticket
Oh my God.
prices
Absolutely.
are going to skyrocket.
Absolutely. And again, that is going to be on Saturday, October 28th, year of our Lord, 2023, starting at noon at Mayflower Brewery in lovely Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Let's not
All right.
alienate our audience, but I'm just kidding.
So that's the Hometown Haunts and Hops Convention, folks. Bit of sad news as we segue out of that event.
Oh, don't tell this. I know this.
So we did cover Possession last week on our show. One of the stars of that movie is the lovely, the great Sam Neill. And it honestly, the day after we posted that episode, it came out that Sam Neill is now battling stage 3 blood cancer.
Oh.
I guess he's publishing an autobiography, which he talks about it a lot in some of his experiences in Hollywood. And unfortunately, it does not sound good. Cancer is usually never good in any way, shape, or form, as I can tell you from experience. But
He's a great actor too.
great actor, and I hope it works out for him. But it sucks to hear, especially so close after we were just talking about how great he was in this movie. And he's such a great actor, so it just sucks
He's
to hear.
the OG Pedro Pascal.
Kind of, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he was taking these two children. Who
Lex and what's his name? Tim. Lex and Tim.
Tim.
In Jurassic Park. Yep. This is the way. Guys, are you interested in a Netflix movie directed by Guillermo del Toro
Yes.
called Frankenstein?
Yes.
Especially if I tell you that this movie is going to be starring Mia Goth, Andrew Garfield, and Oscar Isaac. Have you heard about this?
No,
No.
I haven't heard about this.
All right,
I haven't
so
read about it either.
Del Toro, obviously, a lot of people believe, myself included, that The Shape of Water is his modern retelling of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. He has an affinity for the Universal monsters, which obviously piques my interest. And now it actually is confirmed that he is directing a Frankenstein reboot or retake or whatever. It's going to be a Del Toro movie for sure. So it's going to have his aesthetic, his look.
I hope it's not like Pinocchio though. That was kind
Well,
of.
Pinocchio was animated, and I still can't believe that you didn't like that. I thought that was actually
it
a great
I
version of
didn't like it
Pinocchio.
as much
Yeah,
as I
I really did
thought
a
it
lot.
was.
Cat,
Do we
I
really
like
need to
it.
be redoing Frankenstein, though? Can't we just show people the original?
I would watch anything that Del Toro does, and I love Universal classic monster stuff.
He's good.
Especially when you put in Mia Goth from Pearl and X. She's been on a hot streak lately, and Andrew Garfield's awesome, and Oscar Isaac is a very interesting actor. So
He's also
I don't know who's playing who, but they're all in it apparently.
He's also one of those big name. Really doesn't move the needle for me.
Oh my God, you're going to say something that I hate right now.
I could take him or leave him. There's not one
Guillermo.
Del Toro movie that I've seen that I go, I could not watch that again. I think I don't really care about it, to be honest.
What about Cabinet of Curiosities?
those 2 episodes I watched? But I had no desire to watch any other ones. Those were fine.
All right.
It just doesn't. I don't know.
All right, see, this is where I miss Matt, because I know Matt would be excited for this one. But that's okay. So that's just a quick piece of news. Yeah, Del Toro directing a Frankenstein movie for Netflix. That's happening. A bigger piece of news that I know Andrew will be very interested in. And actually both of you guys, because you both have an affinity for this director.
Elf culture.
So, coming on Christmas, December 25th of 2024.
That would be like the lead into my fucking Brazzers story.
The
Coming
new-
on Christmas.
The new, quote-unquote, untitled monkey paw horror/thriller movie
the Peele?
directed by Jordan Peele is coming.
Don't have
Christmas
any idea what
of
it is.
2024.
Yep.
It's untitled.
That's so exciting.
No plot details, no actors, no nothing. Just the next Jordan Peele movie, which is going to be a horror/thriller produced by his production company, Monkey Paw, coming Christmas
And it's not named,
2024.
so it's just gonna be blank.
Well, he hasn't disclosed
that's a
that
move.
information.
I don't
He's-
even
this
think
is-
there was
this
no
is
information
marketing.
about Nope
This is
until
all
about 6 months before the movie came
And this
out.
is all marketing. He's bringing it so everyone's ready. So then the trailer drops, and this drops, and that
Yeah.
drops. It's called marketing.
He's
I know.
built that level of cachet though, that like if he says I don't want there to be anything out about this movie until I'm ready to drop it, he can
He's
do
like
that.
the modern day Hitchcock.
If
He
I
can
remember
do whatever
correctly,
he wants to do.
so
basically.
Nope came out in July,
Maybe
correct?
that's it. Hitchcock? No.
A very similar filmmaker, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
as good.
no, not quite.
I
yet.
think
not
he's-
quite yet.
No,
Getting
Jordan
close
Peele's
though.
Still new.
So okay, Nope came
got
out
ways
this
to go.
past July, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, so they released the first. They released the
It's
name of the.
18 months.
They released the name of the movie and the first footage at the Super Bowl last year. Before it was 6 months before Nope came out, so there was no title, there was nothing until that actually.
So we'll wait till the summer.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So
what
I
happens.
did-
did read an article about this the other
Yep.
day, and I thought it was funny because they specified they're like Jordan Peele announces his next movie. It's untitled, and in quotation marks, and they go, "No, that is not the name." Because I'm like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
might
yeah,
actually
right?
think that might
Oh
be
yeah.
the name. Nope,
absolutely.
untitled. No.
Untitled.
All right, so that's the new movie from Jordan Peele coming out Christmas of 2024. Guys, a movie we covered in this podcast, The Outwaters, which we all liked to varying degrees. There is some additional Outwaters content dropping on Screambox. When you download this episode, it'll be tomorrow, which will be Friday, March 25th. What's today? The 23rd, correct?
4th. It'll be the 24th.
24th. It'll be the 24th that it's out there.
Thursday.
So head on over to Screambox where you can watch the movie in its entirety. But so Robbie, the director, when he was on our show a few weeks back, actually mentioned this, that there was going to be some additional content dropping. We have an official release date. It's this coming Friday. The first piece of which is called Card Zero, and the second piece is called File VL624. And it should be viewed in this order. The Outwaters movie, Card Zero, File VL624. So if you've still not seen The Outwaters, I highly recommend that you watch it, obviously, in the darkest place possible and prepare for a disorienting experience.
Thank God it's watched in that order. What if it was the opposite? It'd be like, well, I only saw The Outwaters.
Yep. They made sure to release that, so I'm sure it probably has a lot of shit in it that either continues the story or brings it in a whole new different direction. Let's see. A couple other quick things here. Knock at the Cabin, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie that was in theaters recently, is going to be on Peacock this coming Friday, streaming exclusively, which is, I did want to see that movie. I did read the book that it was based on. I wasn't going to see it in theaters, but that's going to be streaming on Peacock this Friday, the 24th. Guys, huge, huge news here. You guys seen a movie called Grindhouse, directed by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez?
No.
Kat, I know you probably haven't. Matt has. I wish Matt was here for this one.
I have.
I know Andrew has. You were nodding, but I saw you.
It was like a...
Yeah.
I don't really care. No.
So,
This is at least the third time you mentioned.
no,
That's so sweet.
okay. Well, sure. All right. So in this movie Grindhouse, the first movie had, interspersed throughout this double feature, there were fake trailers for movies. One of which was called Thanksgiving. It was directed by Eli Roth, and it was essentially a 2.5-minute trailer that was a Thanksgiving slasher movie. There's never been one of those made. He has been trying to make this movie since that film or that trailer came out. I think it was 12 years ago. I think Grindhouse came out in 2012, so maybe 11 years. It's now being made. It's moving forward. And the plot of this movie is a town in Massachusetts that has a huge Thanksgiving parade, witnesses slasher-type events.
Oh, you told me this. We talked about this before.
I think we haven't seen it in the news. He tagged himself on Facebook the other day about Thanksgiving in Plymouth, Mass. on Facebook. So we are going to have an Eli Roth directed Thanksgiving slasher movie that's going to be set in Plymouth, you guys.
I hope Plymouth actually goes through with it.
I don't think he's going to be shooting here.
See, that's what I was just going to say. No. Is this going to be in a different location? Mm-hmm. Plymouth could take all that money and maybe
You'd think it would make sense.
Use it for something?
Could you imagine the influx of tourism if this movie were successsuknow.
What's wrong with that? Nothing
is wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
So why do they keep saying no? Is that what Plymouth is doing?
I don't know.
I mean, then you'd be portraying Plymouth.
Maybe we wouldn't have to pay $3 an hour for parking or whatever the fuck it is. That's still too much.
I don't think they want the connotation of slasher movie.
But they would prefer it to be we massacred Indians or Native Americans. Like they can't have a slasher film. But
it's so ridiculous. I mean, I just don't understand why. Because it's clearly going to be set in Plymouth and based on Plymouth. Why not let them shoot here? And again, I have no inside information. I don't know if there were efforts made to shoot it here. All I know is that the movie it started production this week. Mm-hmm. It's happening, and it's going to be set in Plymouth.
Maybe.
Which is, I feel like, especially for us,
maybe they are
great news for the show.
Why wouldn't you want to have a movie in Plymouth? I'd be going in there every day and be like, can I be an extra? Like,
right?
What if I'm in a podcast?
Also,
I have a baby. Do you need a baby?
I can also confirm that I have reached out to Eli Roth asking if he wanted to come on the show and talk about said movie.
He said no.
And I have had no response. So I can say that.
That's not surprising.
Thanksgiving. Confirmed to be set in Plymouth, potentially? Question mark. It's going to be starring Gina Gershon of Showgirls fame, Patrick Dempsey, who is McDreamy on what's that stupid show? Grey's Anatomy. Right?
Yep.
Tim Dillon, the comedian.
Yeah, I saw that. He was also in Scream 6.
Was he?
Tim Dillon. I read an article. No, but I read an article. I was like, Tim Dillon.
Who is Tim Dillon?
Also, a guy named.
I think you.
You guys remember Hostel, obviously, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the obnoxious American that's talking to Jay Hernandez in the locker room at the end of the movie?
Yes.
That guy's name is Rick Hoffman, that actor. He's going to be in this movie as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
The guy
So
who's-
it's all the usual Eli Roth characters.
The guy when they're like cutting each other up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're
How
cutting
he's
pieces.
asking
What
like,
do you think? What do you think?
how
What
should I do it?
use? How
Yes,
should I do
that
it?
guy, exactly. That
See,
guy.
I know that movie backwards and forwards.
I know you love that movie. I do. So yeah,
weird.
Thanksgiving, guys. It's pretty cool stuff. I have to say, I'm not the biggest Eli Roth fan, but I am excited to see a Plymouth Set horror movie.
I was just going to say, can we say, speaking of overrated,
Yeah, I know.
Eli Roth.
And finally, last but not least, guys, happy Yellow Jackets week, as the season 2 premiere of Yellow
Yes.
Jackets is upon us, coming this Sunday, the 26th. I, for one,
So we go right from The Last of
Fucking
Us to
psyched.
Yellow Jackets?
Yep.
Let's
Not bad.
fucking
guarantee you that was planned. There was absolutely no way that Yellow
They're
Jackets
not gonna
wanted to
re-
overlap with Last of Us and
No.
vice versa.
But I think if given the choice, I would go Yellow Jackets over. If I had to watch one.
One over the other.
Yeah, if I had only one, if only I could only watch one show, I
liked
would
Yellow
prefer Yellow.
Jackets
I
a
thought
lot.
Yellow Jackets season 1.
I'm actually with you. I think I'm. The Last of Us is very good. I feel like Yellow
been
Jackets
done.
is twistier
Yeah.
and it's more interesting
more
and it's weird. It's very strange. Like I
It's going to go in
yeah,
wild
the
directions.
Last of Us is a prestige drama with great characters, but you've seen the post a lot. Like you're more interested in what's going to happen to the characters. I feel like the Yellow Jackets, not Yellowstone. Great characters in the show, but also like you don't know what the fuck's going on.
no
I
idea
want
what's
to
going
figure
on,
out
yeah.
what the hell's going on.
It's like this, Mike. Would you rather watch The Walking Dead or season 1 of True Detective?
True Detective 8,000 times
I
in a
may
row.
have manipulated that question.
Of course.
To help my point of view.
Of course. All right, so that's what I got for news. We're going to talk about some stuff that we watched, you guys, because I got a couple things.
Yeah.
I watched
You'd like
a
me
few
to,
things.
Yeah, you want to go first?
I can go first.
Go for
so
it.
I think we all watched.
We did.
Boston Strangler. Yeah, let's talk about that.
That's the only thing I had to talk
You
about.
kind of confused me because I said, I can't wait to watch this movie, and then you said it's a show.
I thought it was a series. I
got
was confused. Yeah,
so I got like a
apologize.
half hour into it, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is boring me because I thought it was a show.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I have to watch 10 episodes of this, this isn't going to work.
No.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
I
I-
said on the show last week that it was a series
Yeah.
too, so I apologize.
So
I
that
thought
threw
it was,
me
I
off.
thought it was a show.
And then I looked back and I was like, it said like 74 or like 64 minutes left. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, this is just a movie. Like I can watch this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like half hour. No, but like that's a big difference. If you watch 30 minutes
Oh.
of a show and you're bored to fuck, you don't want to watch 10 episodes.
Well, and, like,
I was like, this is a
Stranger
movie, and then it
Things is
got
2 hours.
really good. Like I
Did
really
it?
knew. I thought it was very good because I didn't know really anything about the Boston Strangler as a person that lives in the vicinity of Boston. I'm not a Bostonian.
that also loves
Mm-hmm.
serial killer
Bostonian.
stuff. Yeah.
Love serial killer stuff.
None of
I
us
thought
have
it was-
proclaimed to be Bostonians except for one, except for Punky Brewster over here, who
Hyde
grew
Park
up in Boston.
over here.
Hyde Park over
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Continue.
Despite what you may think, we don't all have Boston accents. So
Correct.
Sometimes we might on the show, but I don't feel like none of us have like an overt.
I just
strong
think it was
Boston
a very good. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like. So I really like the movie Spotlight with Michael Keaton.
Me too.
Ew.
I liked it.
Well,
I liked
yes,
it a lot.
ew, but it's a very interesting story.
Yes.
Talk about the Boston Globe blowing itself. Ew, gross. But yeah, it's a decent movie though. I
It's
know
a
what
good
you're
story.
saying.
Like
Say
I
it.
don't care
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the Boston Globe blowing itself.
Fuck them.
It could be any. Like they could have just done ABC fucking.
DEFG
Newspaper.
HRJK
Like I don't care about that. I thought it was an interesting story about the Boston Strangler, how it was potentially could have been like multiple, most likely was
Well,
multiple
yes.
men that just use the fact that the police department and whoever's investigating it is just basing it off of one common link.
Right.
So you're like, well, I want to murder this person.
Mm-hmm.
If I just tie a stocking around her neck,
Like a present.
they're just gonna assume it's this other person. and
Right.
You're gonna get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in
Not
the
that I
same...
condone that type of
No.
behavior. Obviously. I said it very like nonchalantly, and I was
Christ.
like, "That's kind of wow." But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know too many details myself either. And I totally learned a lot more. I won't say obviously that it's like completely 100% accurate. I'm sure that a lot of maybe
There's liberties have been
things are
taken.
right.
It's all for entertainment
But
value.
at least like the idea of like what happened, I had no idea. I knew that there was a person, the Boston Strangler, in the '60s, and that's all that I really about the Boston Strangler.
Yeah.
I never really did much digging. So this was actually, I was excited when I heard that there was going to be a movie released about it. So I was like, well, yeah. So now we got The Town, The Departed, the fucking Boston Strangler. Like,
But they did make a point, like the Boston accents in this show, which I really a movie. I keep calling it a show.
They're not overdone, I don't
No,
think.
I thought they did a very
Yeah,
good
I
job.
thought
Like
they
they
did a
didn't
good
even like. I
job.
read an article where they wouldn't let Keira Knightley do a Boston accent.
You talked about that last week, but I was
Yeah.
saying I feel like most actors in this
I thought they did pretty good.
did not have a Boston accent.
Which is probably why I liked
the
it
John
better.
Hamm character that you referenced
Yeah.
earlier, he kind of did.
The guys
Okay.
and the actors that they had play like beat cops and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you could tell clearly
The
they were
detective
probably from
absolutely
here.
did. The detective.
Oh no! He was in the Sopranos movie that came out recently. He's
Yeah.
not from here.
No, they did a
But
very
he
good.
seemed
Detective
like he
Conley,
had-
his name is Alessandro Nivola, I think. He played Dickie Moltisanti in the Sopranos
He
movie that
sounded
came
like
out.
he had a little bit of Boston.
It was very subtle.
He
though.
was
They
okay-
did
he
a
was
good
he was
job.
decent.
They
Good.
He
didn't
was
fucking
decent.
overdo it.
No.
Which is good because a lot of times you watch these things and as someone that lives here, they overdo it and you immediately just go, "Oh my god!"
Ugh, yeah.
I know.
Can
We
you
talked
not-
about that at length last week because there are so many people that fuck it up so bad. Carrie Coon didn't have one. Keira Knightley didn't have one. Like
But can we give some
Chris
flowers
Cooper didn't really have one.
to
who?
The guy that played Albert DeSalvio.
Yeah, David Dasmal-Kane is his name. He's awesome.
Prisoners. He's awesome in a very limited part in that movie. He's
Also
like
in The Dark Knight.
weird guy. Yeah, he's
Yep.
in the. Wait, who's he in The Dark Knight?
He's one of the Joker's henchmen. in The
Oh,
Dark Knight.
that's right. Yes.
Yep.
He's very understated. He's so creepy.
Creepy looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does
Good
a very
actor
good
though.
job.
Loves Horror actually hosted the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards recently.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he was also on 101.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he
Scariest
was-
horror movie
yes,
moments on
he was
Shudder.
on that.
Yes,
I
he
remember
was.
seeing his
Yes,
face.
he's a big horror fan.
Yeah.
Good actor, and so apparently there's a new movie
Maybe
that
he'd be on.
I mean, maybe.
Doubtful.
That'd be cool.
There's a new movie that he's starring in that premiered
Make
at
that happen.
South by Southwest. I'll get on it. Either last weekend or the weekend before that he's in, where he plays like a talk show host and do like an Exorcist type thing. It actually sounds pretty good. It got really good. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Did you like the show? I mean, the movie.
So I liked it.
The Boston Strangler. We're talking about the Boston Strangler.
I didn't love it. I thought it was good, not great. See, it's hard for me when I look at a movie about a serial killer that's about also journalism and not think of and compare it to Zodiac, which I think is probably, objectively, in my opinion, the best movie in like the last like 10 or 15 years.
Remember
Next
one
to
thing.
Not the best
Detective
horror,
Season 1.
not the best horror movie, the best movie of the last 10 or
What
15
was
years.
this movie on though?
It was on Hulu.
Yeah, so it's as best as
Listen,
Hulu can do.
I understand, but it's clearly trying to do a Zodiac impression, which I'm not putting. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd.
That's pretty good.
That was good. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it more than that.
I thought the weaker parts were the parts that focused on Keira Knightley and her husband and their family life. I get why they put that in there, but I feel like it was underdeveloped and it wasn't that great.
It really just made them both look like assholes.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, you didn't really feel sympathetic for either person. I'm like, so if you're going to hate both these people, why are you putting this in here?
Yeah.
yeah, because they were doing the thing where it's like, okay, like I'm the husband that takes care of the kids, and I'm making you feel guilty for being an independent woman and working. So I'm clearly an asshole too.
Yeah.
But I'm the asshole mom that's not home ever, and I'm out drinking at bars when I'm saying that I'm working instead of being with my kids. So they're
Right.
both. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Neither one of them was portrayed in like the best light. So it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, like I don't really need this. Like I don't need to be. Tell me more about the Boston Strangler. And I thought that all of that stuff was interesting, and I admittedly. Living, again, Andrew, in the shadows of Boston, not from Boston, I really didn't know that much about the Boston Strangler case. I knew, like, the guy that they eventually caught for it and put in jail. I didn't know that there was all kinds of conspiracies about him.
Just like Son of Sam.
Yeah, it's weird.
Same thing, multiple murders.
I knew it wasn't Berkowitz.
I knew it wasn't Berkowitz. Georgie, I'm ready.
But, yeah, so that's Boston Strangler, which you can find on Hulu right now.
Worth
And
a
definitely
watch.
check it out. Absolutely.
It was
I mean,
like an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Very long.
Carrie Coon, great actress. She's
Okay,
fantastic.
why does she also? She looked just like fucking what's her name from The Last of Us when she was in Mindhunter. Though.
Oh yeah. Nope.
I kept thinking it was the same person. I'm
They do
like,
look
why
alike.
do you look just like?
They look
It
exactly
was
alike.
so
That's
weird.
why I thought it was actually Carrie Coon in Mindhunter when I watched that. It is not.
enough.
I forget the actress's name. I apologize. I can't remember everything. I only have so much space.
It's The Last of Us
in my
It's
little brain.
Tara.
Well, she's the same actress that plays Pedro Pascal's Joel's love interest
Yeah.
in Last of Us was also
And
in
what's her
Mindhunter.
name?
I don't remember. I don't know.
You know it. I
No,
know
I
you know
don't.
it. Deep
I
in the recesses of your mind, Mike.
I'll keep thinking about it. I'll
You
keep
know
thinking
it.
about it.
Anna
Okay.
Torv.
You know it.
That's it. You got it, not me.
Anna Torv.
Wow.
I kept wanting to say Tana Vorv.
Tana
You know
Vorv.
I
it,
was like,
you
no,
know it,
Anna
Michael.
Torv.
You know it at that.
All right, Andrew. What else besides Boston Strangler? You got anything?
I watched, I know you've never seen this movie. It's not a horror movie. But there's a lot of horrific stuff that happens, and I fucking love this. It's just a stupid action movie with Gerard Butler, law-abiding citizen.
I've heard of it.
You're talking about Gerard Butler recently.
So it's this guy who his wife and kid get murdered during a break-in. The lawyer doesn't have enough evidence, so he's like, we should settle, does this. And
so it's Death Wish.
Gerard Butler basically is like, I need revenge on the entire system. And it's so good. He just like does, it's just so, it's Jamie Foxx, Gerard Butler. It's a fun, stupid watch. I mean, there's some gruesome.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, not a horror movie. A very interesting side. Very interesting.
Horror stuff.
It's a borderline.
All right.
There's a lot of body horror, and there's also the science fiction element in this. Have you ever seen? It's in the '80s. Inner Space.
No.
I thought you were going to say Interstellar.
Mike, that's Dennis Quaid, Martin Short.
You love Dennis Quaid. You really do.
I don't. Oh, you know who? I just reminded me. You ever seen The Horseman?
No.
The main actor in this movie was in Horseman.
Okay.
With Dennis Quaid was in that movie.
Okay.
That's like a serial killer movie. So that lines up. No, but Inner Space, Mike, you would love this movie. I can't believe you haven't seen this movie.
Okay.
So basically,
tell me
Dennis
about it, I'll
Quaid
watch
is
it.
a like
Sell me on
ex
it.
Air Force pilot,
Okay.
and he's decided to do this side gig for some science, chemistry, whatever.
Person.
Pardon my French. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Like company that has developed a spaceship or a submersive vehicle that they can miniaturize and inject it into a rabbit or like a living being and like
Holy
basically
shit.
pilot the ship through and find diseases.
So it's like the plot of the Family Guy episode where Stewie goes into Peter to kill his brother's sperm. That one?
kind of like that. Yeah, actually, it is like the same exact weird guy in there that's like, oh, and he's trying to kill him. So he's supposed to be injected into a rabbit to discover it.
Bertram. That's his
Bertram.
name. Yes, Bertram.
But this company that's trying to steal this technology to use it in warfare and stuff like that to sell it to the highest bidder gets in, and the scientist is running away through a mall, and he has Dennis Quaid, who's in the syringe that it was supposed to be implanted into the rabbit, and he just jams it in Martin Short's ass. And so Dennis Quaid is inside Martin Short the whole movie, swimming through his blood, and he basically is like talking to him, and like it's like this wild like
Interesting. Okay,
comedy.
all right. I get what you're
science.
saying.
You would fucking love this movie because there's some great, like he's trying to see through his eyes, so he like shoots out this like grapple hook that shoots into Martin Short's eyes, and he's just like, you ever feel like something stung you in the eye? It's such a good movie.
You actually are trying to say Martin Short, not Martin Sheen, correct? Martin
It's
Short?
Martin Short.
Okay,
not
good.
Martin Sheen.
Okay, all right.
Martin Sheen wouldn't fit this role.
This is called
No.
Inner Space.
Inner Space.
Where'd you find it?
I've seen. I probably. What did I watch it on? I think it was HBO Max. HBO Mock.
HBO Mock. Hometown
It
Home.
also could have been Paramount.
Okay, we'll figure it out. So Inner Space.
Inner Space.
From
like
the 80s.
Inside your space.
With Dennis Quaid and Martin
and
Short.
Meg Ryan.
And Meg Ryan. Oh, of course, Dennis Quaid and Meg are there. Excellent. Anything else horror-related, Andrew?
Let's
than
dig
my life?
deep.
No.
Let's
It can
dig
be
deep.
no. It can
And then
be no.
and then everything will just go.
Gato, anything you want to report on that you've watched over the last week before I go?
No.
Okay?
I've been doing a lot of March Madness betting.
Yes, I know.
We
you
all
and Andrew
care.
both
You're
been
a
doing
big
that,
winner.
yeah.
We don't care.
I know, yeah.
And
Tell everyone what you won.
I won money. Mm-hmm. Money me now.
Money me now.
Which
Money
was great.
me.
No, it was
Yes.
fun. It made it more fun. And I've learned all about betting in like one weekend.
How about that?
So, than I ever knew.
See, the
ever.
issue is that you now think you have it mastered because you won.
No.
This is the problem.
No.
The best thing with
Now.
gambling is if you lose early and you lose often, because then you'll just steer clear. Now they get you roped in.
Yep.
This is like your new Keno, except
is.
it's a lot more accessible and you can lose a lot more
That's
money
exactly why she
a
loves
lot
it.
quicker.
Yeah, I told her that the other day, so she'll figure it out on her own. I know.
Keno's the same odds, essentially.
That's,
All right.
I think it's less odds.
Before we get into this movie, I have two things I want to talk about with you guys real quick. And two things I would recommend with some, hesitance on both. First movie, it's an anthology movie called Holidays, which just came to Shudder recently. It's a 2016 movie.
That was the other movie I was thinking out of Spring.
So basically,
This is
it's
Holidays movie.
each segment is named after a particular holiday during the year, and they're very. There's like 7 segments in an hour and 40-minute movie, so they're very short. It's a disposable movie. There is a It starts out with Valentine's Day, there's a St. Patrick's Day, there's a Mother's Day, there's a Father's Day. There is a Halloween, there's a Christmas, and there's a New Year's Eve. So you have 7 segments based on those holidays. But there's actually some big names in here. Kevin Smith directed one of the segments. Kolsch and Widmeyer, I forget their first names. They directed Starry Eyes and the Stinky Pet Cemetery remake. They directed a few segments in this. No, but I mean, Seth Green's in one of the segments, the Christmas one. So, I mean, they're little short, disposable horror things, but it's a fun watch for an hour and 40 minutes. It's hasn't been on streaming before, and now it's on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, check it out for a fun time. That's what I would say for that one. On the opposite end of the spectrum, a movie that I absolutely fucking loved. I think, honestly, not quite as much as my favorite movie so far.
The Mummy.
Yeah, not as much as the Academy Award-winning movie, The Mummy. This movie's called Unwanted, and it is an Irish horror movie. Came out recently, and you can rent it on Amazon Prime.
I'm going to watch it.
Yep, you absolutely should, and I have another 24 hours left in my rental for Amazon Prime, so you should watch it as soon as you can.
Mañana.
So this is directed by a guy named John Wright, who directed Grabbers, which is a movie we covered last St. Patrick's Day. So it's an Irish horror movie that I would call... Andrew, do you remember Caliber on Netflix?
Calibre?
The one that you thought was called Calibre?
I watched the movie Calibre.
I love that movie.
It's Caliber mixed with Gremlins, but much darker. Oh. Like, you know how Grabbers obviously was a very fun and fun-y horror movie? This is a much darker premise than that. It's almost like a... So when I say Caliber, I know, Kat, you haven't seen it. It's almost kind of like a... I'll give you the brief synopsis. So there is a couple that is trying to have a baby. They live in London, like in the middle of the city, and the girl gets pregnant. The night that she gets pregnant, their house is broken into by 3 guys, and they're both almost killed. Thankfully, the baby lives. They decide they want to move out of the city, so they decide they want to move to rural Ireland. It just so happens that the husband's aunt passed away and left them a house, like in the boondocks of Ireland. And anyway, so they go and they move, and she's about to have the baby when they move there. And all of the backwoods Irish townfolk, when they move in, they go to the pub. None of them are welcoming or friendly or anything like that, so they have that element. Then there's also a supernatural element of some creatures from the history of Irish folklore that may or may not show up at some point.
The Loch Ness Monster?
Nope, that's Scottish. Know your Irish history. Come on, Irish girl.
Snakes?
Nope, I'm not going to give it away. If you watch the movie, it's a lot of fun. It's fucking awesome. The creature effects are actually really, really good. And it's actually not leprechauns.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
That's
is this
Irish.
leprechauns though? Like,
I'm talking about Irish. It's Irish.
Right. I mean, Jennifer Aniston.
Loch Ness Monster is Scottish. Leprechauns are Irish.
No. When we were just talking
We're not talking about
the movie
leprechauns,
Leprechaun.
Yes, I know.
I said Jennifer Aniston moves that house.
What about it?
And there's a leprechaun in the basement.
We talked about that movie last week.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, the cast in it is actually excellent. Colm Meaney, great Irish actor. He's in it. It's one of those guys that if you see him, you'll know him. The girl that plays Michelle in Derry Girls is one of the villains in it. She's awesome.
Of course she is.
Yep. One of the girls that was in one of the episodes of Black Mirror is in it. So and the guy that played Hodor in Game of Thrones is also one of the main guys because he's also from Ireland.
Hodor.
So the act it's fun, it's funny, but it's like. So it's like for a little while it has the same tone of Grabbers, but it's also like the home invasion shit is very, very, very dark. Like there were a few times I was
like
just like
wicked, dark, and
dude.
fucked up kid.
But I loved it. I think it's my favorite movie that I've seen that's come out this year so far. I really like The Outwaters. I really liked Cocaine Bear. And shit, what was the other one that I liked? I forget. But so I liked this more than those.
I still have to watch Bear.
Cocaine Bear was excellent.
You still haven't seen Winnie the Pooh. One of the worst.
I haven't seen Winnie the Pooh.
One of the worst
Is it
rated movies
streaming
of Rotten Tomatoes history.
Yeah, I know. I've heard.
I'd
that.
watch it again.
Yeah, I want to watch it as soon as it's possible to see it. So.
What was the other movie you were talking about? You couldn't remember it?
Oh, so I had my rankings this year so far with for 23. Granted, it's only 5 films. But the 5 2023 films that I've ranked so far on Letterboxd, I have The Outwaters at 1, this movie number 2, Cocaine Bear 3, Boston Strangler 4, and at a long and far away number 5, Skinamarink. Yeah.
No, Skinamarink not number 5. It's not a thing.
Well,
It's never,
out of
by
the
the end
ones-
by the end of the year.
My point is that I have Skinamarink on the last of my list,
but you
and
don't
I've
even
only
have to
seen
feel
5 movies.
obligated
It
to
shouldn't even
mention
be
that
on the
movie.
list. Yeah, it shouldn't be on the list.
But again, this movie's called Unwanted, and you can rent it on Amazon Prime. I rented it for fucking $6.
Not to be confused with the autobiography of my life.
But
Unwanted. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you
Self-deprecating
poor bastard, you poor
humor.
bastard.
I love it.
So yeah, definitely watch that before my rental expires.
Unwanted?
Unwanted. It's on Amazon Prime.
Unwanted.
Yep. Guys, anything else that we watched before we dive into tonight's movie?
We've been watching American Horror Story still.
Yeah, we have, and I feel like it's again. I predicted the future a few weeks ago. We talked about this. It's falling into the American Horror Story problem, which is that they're running out of plot for the story that they have. There's no need for it to be 10 episodes. Have it be 6 or 8
I think
or 3.
3 1 hour and a half
They should do, yeah.
stories would be perfect.
Yeah.
It's a solid 4.5 hours. It's like Storm of the Century. That's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Actually, that's like 8.
Yeah, that's
it's
the whole...
long time.
It's a fantastic 8 hours of television. It's not like The Stand, because that sucks.
That's like 8 hours of television.
Yeah. But I actually, I mean, we have to finish it. I think we only have like three episodes
absolutely
left.
have to see it through, yeah.
It's for the most part been very good, and I think one of my favorite horror story seasons, like in recent memory.
What number is this now?
12, 11.
And you've seen every single season?
We have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw season 1.
Sometimes when you run out of shit to watch, it's like, all right, what else can we
just
watch?
throw it on.
It's American Horror Story.
And then
Sure.
you're like, well, this sucks.
I don't
I'm gonna
think
keep
we've
watching
watched it. I
We
don't
didn't
think
watch
we've-
the whole season of a few of
The
them, I
last-
feel
the
like.
last time-
Circus, I think we gave up on.
Well, the
it.
last time that we watched it, actually, I feel like week to week.
Was the Cape Cod one?
Yeah.
No, we didn't watch that like religiously, but the Apocalypse, which is the Coven Murder House crossover season, that one was awesome.
What year was
good.
that?
Couple years
It's got to be
ago.
3, maybe 4 years ago.
That was
But
good.
the Cape Cod one was awesome. That was really good.
That was
I thought
good.
that, but that was only half of a season. That was like 3 episodes. 4
Right,
episodes.
because that was her horror story.
Double feature was the name of the season. So there was the
then the alien
P-Town
one,
story,
right?
then the alien one
Yeah.
after that. I don't know. Yeah, American Horror Story. I mean, it's one of those shows like you throw on. It's good, but I'm not going to go. There are so many more things that I'm interested in at this point.
But we're
Beyond.
pretty. I mean, when you do look at it, how many seasons? So how long have we been?
It's either
watching
11.
this?
It's either 11 or 12.
Years we've been watching the show.
I remember watching the first season of American Horror Story with you when you lived in Hingham at your
Right.
apartment. Like the first episode of the first show, I think we
10,
watched
almost
together.
11 years ago.
in
2013.
11
I
years
think it was 2012, 2013.
2000.
It was right around the
12.
same time as season 1 of Ancient Aliens, which is some way
2011.
better.
It was also around the same time as the first season of The Walking Dead because we would also watch that at your house. in Hingham.
2011.
I think it's been 10 years.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's American Horror Story. This season's called New York City. It's good so far. We'll report back once we've... Guys, anything else before we jump into tonight's movie? Okay. Why don't we take a quick 90-second break for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back to talk to you about spring, which has sprung
Yet again.
again. And we'll be
Not
back.
the only thing that's sprung.
Oh.
It's official. The critic's decision is in.
Spooky World is spooktacular.
Enter the new black hole.
If you dare.
Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's American's horror theme park. Spooky World.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Sleepy Clovers.
It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's killer this year. Then be next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
Alrighty, guys. So we're talking about... we're back, by the way. We're talking about a movie called Spring. as we are in officially spring of 23. Guys, thoughts on spring as a season? Anyone want to contribute?
I remember
any thoughts?
One time when me and Shlee went to this burlesque show.
Your friend Shlee, yes.
There was this woman was singing about spring was busting out all over.
I get it because her boobs were out. Yeah. Busting. Yep, I get it.
That's not just spring for me, though. Every day, just busting out all over. Sometimes you gotta do.
Or was it June? Maybe
June busting out.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's when pollen busts all over everything.
June.
Oh yeah, the pollen. Remember the pollen at Seth's house?
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, that was
pollen.
gross.
Pollen everywhere.
Dude.
Pollen is distinct.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's great pollen talk.
Yeah.
You know what that brings me to?
I thought I was going to say that somebody
pollen,
has
it's
somebody had a strong opinion on spring.
Well, this is what made me
you
think of spring. Spring is like when you fall asleep drunk at 2 a.m. and you have to get up at 6 a.m. and you wake up and you think maybe you're rested, but you're so fucking tired.
Yes.
And you wake up, you have a headache all day, maybe you're a little snotty, either the pollen or you're just hungover, and it never fucking ends. It just lasts and lasts, and every morning you get up, it's 32 degrees outside, so you put on pants and a hoodie, and then by the time it's noon, it's like 68 degrees, and you're sweating your fucking dick off, and you're like, I shouldn't have worn this fucking clothes, because now I'm hot. And you just never know what, like, it just, Andrew, spring is the worst because it just, you don't know what the fuck to expect. Summer's great, fall's great, winter's great because you know it's most likely going to be cold. Spring is the fucking worst. I hate spring so much because it's just a fucking tease. It's a bad edge job. It's just no good for anyone.
So you're in agreement with me that when you say when I say that the people that say spring and fall are the same thing are the biggest idiots walking the planet Earth?
Fall is completely different.
It sure is.
Fall, it's beautiful all day until about 6 o'clock at night,
Halloween.
and you put a hoodie on. Spring, you don't know what to wear.
It sprungs again.
And your allergies are acting up, and you want it to be warm. It's not warm. It's just a big fucking letdown.
Or then on other days
tease.
it's too warm.
Yeah. Spring can go fuck itself. I have no interest in spring. I'll take January. When you get like a couple days that are in the 60s and you go, what the fuck just happened? Spring, you're like, oh, it might hit 60 by 3 p.m. Cool. God. Like, it's fucking terrible. I hate spring.
I do like the spring flowers. Like, I like our forsythia bush that always blooms. Or like when we used to live in Mark Drive, that tree that flowered.
Our treehouse tree.
Yeah. Oh, it was so pretty.
Yeah.
I do like spring flowers when they start to.
When they sprung again.
Burst. Yeah.
Oh God.
I like spring bursts.
So was that your big spring rant? It
was a huge fucking letdown, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought it was pretty good, but
you made it seem like you were.
It made sense in my head.
You made it seem like you were gonna go like absolutely ham on the gods next season.
No, I just wanted to give my spring is overrated.
It is overrated, absolutely.
I wasn't gonna go.
I agree with you.
So if you rank seasons, what are your rankings?
Spring's
ranking
last.
of seasons are fall, summer, winter, spring.
That's the correct ranking, I think.
No.
That's how I rank them. Yeah, I know you're a summer girl. Yep.
Summer, fall, no, actually.
Tough.
Summer, spring, fall, winter.
Maybe you took that hat off the...
Summer, spring, fall, winter.
Yes.
Spring
Summer
should
is
be
the
nothing
best,
but last.
But you know what is in the spring? My birthday.
That's also correct.
Technically.
Your birthday's June 1st. That's the
kicks
summer.
off the summer, but the first
Are you
day of
fucking
summer,
kidding me? No,
the
that
first
is
day
not
of summer,
spring.
That's summer.
The first day of summer is not until the 21st.
Kat, it's June... Memorial Day weekend
June
is the kickoff of
1st
summer.
is
And especially June 1st. That is summer. That is summer. Your birthday
You don't
is
have
summer.
a spring birthday.
No.
June doesn't count as
Technically,
spring.
if you use that technically.
All right.
My birthday would fall. Okay, then it would be summer, fall, spring, winter.
Maybe if you took
I hate winter.
Maybe you took your hat off, some of that blood would flow back into your brain, and you'd be able to.
I feel like
tell
lately
when
the
spring
weather in
is
winter has
and
been
when
better
summer
than
is.
the spring.
That's maybe because we're over. What do I mean?
Maybe you're over-prepared because you're over-prepared for everything because you're a fucking...
Have
Girl
to be
Scout, yeah.
prepared. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Like a
That's what
doomsday
Girl
prepper.
Scout motto: be prepared.
Without the prep.
Everything you got to prep.
Speaking of spring, we are talking about a movie called Spring this evening, which is directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. This was a fact that I did not know until we started the movie last night, Catherine.
Yes.
These guys have directed some very good stuff, written and directed some, especially a movie called The Endless, which I really enjoyed. I know Andrew also really enjoyed it.
Yes.
They also had a movie come out last year, which I did not care for as much. It was called Something in the Dirt, which you can stream on Hulu right now. They also directed a segment in VHS Viral, which is the worst VHS movie, but their segment was actually pretty good. They did an episode of the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone reboot. They directed some episodes of Archive 81 on Netflix, which is a show that I didn't care for personally. They also directed some stuff for Disney for Moon Knight. And also Loki, as Kat's apparently just recording us and reverberating all of our sounds back into the microphone as I'm talking. That's cool. So my long way of saying that I think these guys are very good directors. They're very creative people. And this movie I really cared for. With that being said, I know Kat and I think all of us didn't really know a whole lot about this movie before we started watching it. So it was technically a Kat pick.
Yes.
Even though she did not know anything about it and, recommend it highly, she just, I think, literally Googled spring horror movies. This is the first one that popped up.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes. So everyone was kind of wondering what we should do on a podcast, and I'm always the first person to be like, we should be relative to what is currently going on, the social.
Yeah.
So relevant.
Oh, are you really gonna fucking
So
pretend like you knew what this movie was and that you recommended this movie?
No. So
I would never have recommended this movie. If you had watched this movie, you would have been like, "It's the most boring movie I've ever seen in my life."
So I went to the Google machine and I said, "Spring horror movies," and this popped right up there. It said, "Spring."
Right open there, don't you?
Spring, and I said, "Okay, what's this about?" And I was like,
"Spring."
This looks kind of cool. It had hostile vibes to it, kind of with the European weird. You didn't know what was going on.
Nothing like
in the
that.
trail. No, nothing like that but in the trailer.
He stays in a hostel.
He does. I've stayed in a hostel like that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There was bunk bed.
Bed bugs. Yep.
Definitely
But,
bed bugs.
In Ireland, correct?
Yes, in Ireland. We stayed in a hostel. And there were 4 bed bunks.
Bunk beds.
Bed bunks.
Not bed bunks. There's no such thing as a bed bunk, right?
Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bunks bite.
If something's bunk, it's not
Jesus
good,
Christ.
right?
Yeah, bunk is not good. Bunk is not
Yeah.
good. No, bunk's not good. Anyway, so what did you think about Spring?
I liked it. It was a nice movie.
That's surprising,
I
didn't
think it was a horror movie, really. I mean, it had what I just said to Andrew when we were talking about it.
That's going to be my biggest thing. We can talk about it now, but
it's got horror elements to it, yes. Scary because you're also on your own. Some scary, morbid, dark things that happens to this guy. Like, her elements and whatever the hell she has going on is super weird. So, I mean, but in the end, like, it's a happy ending.
Yeah. Well, let's not spoil it yet.
I'm just saying it's...
Yeah.
At the end, you're like, oh, I don't feel like I need to, like, wash my hands or my face or something to be like, yuck. You know, like I do with some horror movies. But
I think this is a very comedic romance movie with some sci-fi and horror elements.
Comedic?
I thought this movie was very funny.
You laughed?
Especially
you did not laugh through this movie.
The first half hour of the movie
British
I thought
guys,
was very funny.
yeah.
Oh my god, they cracked me the fuck up. I was dying laughing every time they were on
funny.
screen. I actually thought the movie kind of took a turn. I mean, I get it tried to move towards more of a serious movie. The movie was so much of a different first half hour. Between when he's at the bar after something happens, I won't spoil it yet, obviously, if you haven't seen this movie. But the main character goes to a bar with his best friend. His best friend's always fucked up, and and something happens where he decides that and then he goes to Italy and meets up with these random people, these random Welsh bachelors, 2 guys, and they're just fucking hammering drinks and smoking weed, and they are, I think, the funniest characters. Those 2 guys and his friend Tommy from back home.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I feel like it was very, very comedic at first, and then the tone just shifted, which we can get to all. Anything else you want to say about the movie, Kat?
I liked the hostel. No,
okay.
I liked the.
So this is your type of movie.
Well, not even that because
when you say hostel, you're not referring to the movie.
No, I'm referring to an American.
The place that you can go to stay.
No, I'm referring to the movie in a sense that it's like Americans.
There's nothing like hostel.
It's Americans going on vacation. So he's technically going away.
He's not on vacation. He's leaving his.
I'm trying to explain this. Let me talk. So, it's an American going to a foreign country, meeting a girl. Not totally sure what's up with this girl. Like, it was the same deal in Hostel. Like, what's his face?
Is that what it was?
Yes, where they meet these girls.
That I can see. Yes. Except they're
then,
not
like,
prostitutes that lead them to a murder and torture ring.
No, but
Which is
she leads
what
them
I think of when I think of
different
Hostel.
Correct.
places, including they
I think about the love story that
But
came
she
before.
is
it.
right. She is
They
right. She's
lead
right.
To be fair.
him to an art gallery, and that's one of the first places that they go to is an art gallery. That's why I was like,
But they don't lead him anywhere. He goes where
exactly,
she goes. It's
which
not
is-
they. It's
what
her.
is
All right, all right.
Jay-
Wait a second. Before we
Jay
get into like
Hernandez or whatever.
that, Jay Hernandez when like she's like follow me, and leads him to an art gallery, and that's technically the place where they get chopped up, but they call it an art gallery. That's one of the first places that they go to as a couple when she's just like running away and he's like chasing her, which is exactly what they do in Hostel. That's the same thing. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay.
They're very similar.
All right. Comparison
movies.
warranted.
No, very similar first 20 minutes.
The idea is similar, which makes you kind of uneasy because you don't really know where she's going. It's like she's going this place, she's going to that place, and he's just following her
I think
around.
what Andrew's trying to say is safe to say this movie does not delve into the torture porn genre.
No,
right? Correct?
not
Can't
in
compare
that
this movie to
sense.
Hostel.
No.
Yeah, but that's such a weird thing. Who takes the premise for the movie Hostel and it's like, this is my comparison.
Andrew, she's thinking about a movie that she's seen before that she can compare it to.
I
Yes.
get that, but that movie is also Hostel. So
Okay, well, not the torture
saying
porn
is-
piece of
that's
it.
all
but
I
there's a
think
lot
about when I
The two
think
of
about
you also
Hostel.
have baseball hats on, and I think it's cutting off the circulation.
It's
to
way
your
better
brain.
this way. No,
Yes.
I just
Yes, it
I
is.
know what she's saying. But
Neither
like,
of you are operating at full brain capacity.
Oh, I'm at full capacity.
Yes.
My fucking meteor is a meter.
Meteor.
Meteor.
The meteorite?
is about to explode. No.
Okay. All right. So, Kat,
What?
close the loop. Close the loop on this movie. What do you think? Oh my. Andrew, talk to me about Spring. What do you think of this movie?
So I would say that this is almost a mashup of Dorian Gray and Vampire. Or
It's actually a really-
Dracula.
Really good comparison.
Like, she's always beautiful. She always looks good. She's old as fuck.
Great knowledge knowing Dorian Gray.
And,
By the way. Good job. I'm impressed.
She has to decide whether she would rather. It's almost like a fable, like a Aesop's fable. Like it's a cautionary tale.
You love saying
Do
that.
you? No.
Love
But
saying
do
that.
you? What's more important to you? Beauty. Your. That's
An eternal
being conceited,
Or
beautiful, or
mortality.
or
Love.
love. What do you value more? Love for oneself or love for another? It's a very
A tale as old as time.
Yeah, it's like Beauty and the Beast. And this time the Beast probably doesn't have a because the Beast in Beauty and the Beast has to have, like, this is off topic, a giant wiener.
You know what? I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. Belle had to have been intimidated by that giant beast penis.
It
Dude.
was probably as big as Belle.
He probably
He was some sort of beast.
He probably
There was a
slapped
huge-
that off
huge
her
dick.
bell so often. Her bell was ringing. Like, it was wild.
Good call. All right.
I mean, I don't know if that's on Brazzers, but they should do like a
You were
I
like,
think that's the second
It's been,
Brazzers reference
I'm
for
making
you.
up for lost
Yeah,
years.
you're making up for lost time.
years.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
been years.
Fair enough.
yeah.
Hey.
But that's my
I won't encourage
that's
that.
my general
Pornography.
That's me dropping my
People watch it.
knowledge on what I think this movie is, my inner fucking stupidness. So
Disney
there's that.
penis. Disney.
No, not that. Like
Disney
the actual,
penis porn.
like the Dorian Gray Dracula.
The Disney penis porn would take place in like the clouds of Aladdin, where all the animators drew penises and boobs
Yeah,
and all
and
that
Jasmine
weird
would
stuff.
just be stripping, while Abu is like a booby tassel for her.
Andrew, did your boner just hit the table? Is that what I just heard
I think
right
that
there?
was your boner because you're like a boo-hoo. Like, okay, yeah.
Salute McDoo, baby. All right, hold on. Wait a second. All right. As the host of this show, I feel like I do need to rein us in from time to time. This is fun. It's fun conversation.
McDoo-a-hoo.
Salute McDoo, ahoo.
A boo-hoo?
So, guys, Spring was a wild movie. Wild fucking movie
Okay.
that I
I thought that was interesting that you called it wild. I don't know if I would.
I think Mike likes that
But
word.
go
a
ahead,
lot.
go ahead.
We all use the word wild.
I wanna-
a lot. Wild means
I don't know if I feel that it was.
it's just
okay.
Wild?
All right, you know what?
It's
okay.
a good word. I feel like you
Wild?
don't
Okay, so
appreciate
hold on,
that
hold on,
word.
wait.
It was a wild movie.
As the kids say, I feel seen. I do say the word wild a lot. So you know what? I'm going to use other words than wild from now on.
Slap.
I will.
Scrumtrelescent.
Nope, I'm not going to say slap. I'm not going to say scrumtrelescent. I will say this is a strange movie. This is a compelling movie, and this is a movie that draws you. This is very much, as I mentioned, a drama comedy. With when the horror and sci-fi stuff come in, they feel like they come in hard because the creature effects that are in this movie are actually like pretty good.
Can we get this out of the way real quick?
Sure. What are you making fun of me about saying?
We all know why you like
tentacles.
There were lots of tentacles.
Sexy tentacles.
Yes, she was sexy, but it was just if there were any worms, tentacles. I was waiting for the worm.
The little.
I mean,
the tentacles, though, as soon as I saw tentacles, I'm like, Mike loves this movie. This movie is wild because you meant this movie has tentacles. Fucking yes, let's go. Like
they're in the church and you see the little tentacle at the thing and Mike's like, woo.
No, not those. The sloppy, wet tentacles on the floor. Those are the tentacles Mike likes. That wasn't a real tentacle. That was some CGI bullshit. That looked like shit.
I feel like some of the effects of the creature effects in this were actually practical. So like when he walks in on her,
she's on the floor,
and the tentacles just like flopping around.
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly like practical.
That was
fantastic.
fantastic.
It was cool. It was really cool. So I think the monster effects are really. I have to say, like I was actually kind of blown away the first time that you see her like from far away, like stumble out into an alley, and she's just like a skinny like weirdo, just like stumbling around.
Well, you didn't know.
You didn't know what the fuck's going on. You're like, what the fuck is the matter?
She like
with this girl?
meowed. I was like, why is she meowing?
I feel like, okay,
She's
so
like,
so it's funny you mentioned that. So I feel like she turned into like several different creatures.
Which is
I feel
weird.
like there was one time she looked like a werewolf. There was one time she looked like a snake. There was one time like so.
Which I don't get because isn't she just her DNA is morphing based off of the person that she's having a baby with?
Well, yeah.
Are you fucking worms or werewolves? Like, what are we doing?
Well,
seems a little bit of a stretch.
Apparently, so I noticed this one because. Ethan, the guy that was dating her, I think that was his name. I don't know the main character's name. Evan. So he goes into her apartment one time and he notices the poster on the wall that has like so many different animals like on it. And
it's like an evolutionary chart.
Correct.
Like Elisa Frank?
Yes. No, not Elisa Frank. What? So, but yeah, Andrew's right. So it's like an evolutionary chart with a ton of animals, and I feel like I would have to go back and watch it again, but I feel like there were so many different animals that she looked like at certain points. There was definitely one point she looked like a wolf. She looked like a werewolf.
Yeah, threw me off a little because
looked like
it
an octopus, a mermaid, like all kinds of weird shit.
So what are you doing?
So,
who are you having sex with?
Yeah, I don't know.
Octopi?
Who's having sex with the chicken?
The chicken. No, but it's weird because if she's like her appearance changes every 20 years when she's pregnant.
Those are Lisa Frank pictures.
Not at all what we were talking about. Those are very cute photos.
So, I guess what I was trying to say in summation was the fact that I really like this movie, and it kind of reminded me a little bit. It's not really a horror movie. It's horror enough that I feel like it's worthy of a discussion on this podcast. I think 1,000%.
Yes.
It's not 100% horror, but it's a very good movie and a very good story.
Well, it was the first one that came up when you Googled spring horror movies.
Okay, you don't listen. You don't have to defend.
We are aware.
I'm just saying. I'm not defending myself. I'm just saying
I was saying you didn't have to defend yourself. I was just going to say, this kind of reminds me a lot of, like, The Shape of Water. I think that's a fair comparison.
I've never seen that.
Neither of you guys seen The Shape of Water?
No.
Guess who directed it?
Who?
Del Toro.
That's probably why I didn't watch it.
Oh, you're right.
No, I don't think.
How does that make me a nerd?
Because Del Toro's awesome. You're a fucking
the opposite.
You're a loser. You're a loser.
Anyone that likes Del Toro is a nerd.
Oh, you're a fucking nerd.
Hence, the opposite would make me not a nerd.
Oh my god. Anyway, okay.
He's good. He's fine.
Guys, great. I guess before we get into spoilers and everything else about this movie, anything else you want to say, like off the top, just overall thoughts, like, you know, in terms of your enjoyment or non-enjoyment?
Overall thought?
Yeah.
That Italian person?
Who's actually a German actress.
Absolutely.
Louise.
Gorgeous.
She's very pretty.
She's
very
attractive.
Very, very pretty. Yep.
It is funny because like her and like the girl from Triple X and then the girl from Hostel like all look they all have that like dark like similar like European look.
Big
about
eyes.
them. You know
So
what
you've
I
seen
mean?
Triple X, but you've never seen like or some of these other Triple X. What's that?
Vin Diesel.
The Vin Diesel movie. My God.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I thought that was what I watched on Brazzers.
No, Jesus.
Bang! That's 3 tonight.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's go.
Look at you. There you go.
3, and that was unsolicited.
layup.
I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I say they all have that like European darker feature, like olive skin kind of look to them. Like they just have that. It's all that kind of. I thought she looked like
stereotypical.
Yeah, I feel like there's a certain look.
Sounds
to,
like you're Jell-O.
when you have a European woman
Well, you also look European too.
Yeah. What's your problem with European women?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying their features are very similar. Like there are certain.
I'm not taking offense to anything you're saying.
No, it is. I'm just curious.
Andrew is for some reason.
I'm just wondering what we're saying. What are you saying?
I feel like these three women, like that are European women, they play the same type of. They play the same.
Okay, so who are the other women you were talking about?
The girl from Triple X.
Okay, I don't know
The
what
Vin
that
Diesel
movie
movie.
is. What are you comparing movies to Triple X
Keep
for?
talking. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
And then
I know the movie, but no one's.
No, I'm gonna look
and
at the
then-
actress.
And then the girl from Hostel and this girl all look the same because they have the short, dark hair, and they have that like darker features, like European-y face kind of thing.
Asia Argento. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Asia Argento was the one that was dating Anthony Bourdain when he killed himself.
Yeah.
So fuck her.
She has like.
Depending on what
No,
you read.
not
Depending
even
on what you read.
You have to. Okay.
She
this is
killed
all
Anthony
out of
Bourdain,
context.
potentially.
You're not looking at their face.
And I'm sorry, what was the other movie?
The girl from Hostel.
Hostel.
But the
It's
girl
someone else
that-
with dark hair.
She had
It's
dark
like when
hair.
people will be
It was
like, everyone
dark,
with
short
glasses
hair.
looks the same.
No,
that
that's
offends
not
me in every
true.
way, shape, and form.
No. Yes.
Barbara Nedelejova.
I can't wait for this to be. Well, she's kind of hot. Yeah, close on that.
Well, pretty is one thing, but looking alike is a different thing.
They just have the same features.
They don't look
But
alike,
no,
but-
they don't look alike. They have the same features.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's
Okay.
you're
whatever.
being very. You're assuming that everyone with dark hair
No.
looks the same. That's kind of offensive.
It's like typecasting. You're saying if you have like, you can be this type of woman in Europe if you have dark hair.
I know what you're saying. If you look a certain ethnicity,
yes,
But
but if you
don't-
look like you're an
they're
Italian, you can play an
typecasting.
Italian.
Yes.
Because the actress is
Exactly.
German playing an
Yes.
Italian woman.
Well, she's
Here's
not
the
even-
difference, though. She's so good looking that guy's even willing to stay with her, even after he realizes this bitch is growing tentacles.
Can we
out
also
of her.
agree
Right
that
after knowing her for a
And he's
week,
like, I
Wait a second.
still love
Hold
you.
on.
Like,
Hold.
can
I love you. I've known you for a week.
Can we also can we acknowledge two things? One, that it was kind of a beautiful love story, but also in the same sense that he was the most pathetic fucking loser I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, my mommy and daddy.
Chasing her around.
and he's
I mean,
just
obviously
chasing
he had
her.
some shit happen, but dude, he was running after her around Italy.
She was pretty attractive.
Maybe
though,
give her.
so-
Well, yes, of course, but I mean, maybe try and play it cool a little bit, bro.
He's like, I know you might be a prostitute.
You
but-
might be a succubus or some sort of Lovecraftian monster with tentacles, but when you're a human,
I'm ready to go down the
when you give
rabbit
yourself
hole.
that shot, I really like having sex with you, so I'm gonna.
But he also, if you think he's there because he has nothing to lose.
Here's my thing, though. My
So what
biggest.
does it
You want to
matter?
know the biggest nitpick of this movie, and this is gonna. When you hear this, you're gonna go, yeah.
Okay, Andrew.
Biggest nitpick of this movie.
Yes.
When the cops start coming around, and he immediately thinks that they're for him.
Right.
That they're the immigration police. He's been there for a week.
I said the same thing while we were watching.
You've been there for a week. You're on like a week.
That was
People
definitely
go on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
3
And you
weeks.
think immigration
A
is
week,
coming
and they're coming for you?
Maybe
No.
because he's working and earning a wage. That's the only thing I could think of. Like,
No,
I have
but
no
how
idea.
the
But that
fuck-
was definitely like a
That was under
was
the
a
table.
flag.
That guy was working
That was
for
a
goat's
flag.
milk and fucking sucking on that old man's nipples. He wasn't doing anything else.
That
was a weird relationship
that
there.
That was insane.
I thought it was a
because
nice
that is-
relationship. Oh, they just liked each other.
You're
There's
there
a bigger part of that relationship.
Oh, you're so
No. The one we're talking. We agreed on this.
Oh, yep, yeah, no, that part you're correct. But I feel like the two of them just had like
Oh, no, it's
a
great. I was
genuine
just
friendship. Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
fucking stir the pot.
No, I know what you're saying. We'll get to that. Sorry.
But that was I agree with you.
Don't you think that was the weirdest thing? Oh, the immigration police
been
coming
here
for
a
me. You've
week.
been here for a week. Like, some people don't even like their vacation's like a month.
Right. Like they're not tracking
Isn't
you
it
while
six?
you're in
What is
Europe.
it? 60 days for your visa?
I don't, longer than that. I think. I
Yeah.
think that you can be there for a few months.
And he was there for like 5 days. He's like, I already fell in love with this bitch, but I'm getting kicked out by this country.
Right?
It was a
But yeah,
wild.
like, immigration-
that whole thing was weird because they were really just looking for the fucking monster that ate people or killed that fucking guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, probably looking for her. I mean, also, by the way, safe to say the effects of when she actually does transform,
Pretty
they're
good.
pretty goddamn good.
So
very
also-
good, actually.
So the horror stuff that does come in.
One thing. Wait. Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I said to Mike too while we were watching it, I was like, "What if? Ready? What if she was also that guy's wife?"
We were going to bring that up. Yep.
That was
Andrew
what
and
we
I
all
both-
thought.
Yep.
I all assumed that old Italian guy, he was married to her at some point.
I'm
it was,
of the
that
opinion-
reminded me of Let Me In, or
Yeah.
He's the remember that movie?
Andrew and I talked about this today at the shop. I'm of the opinion that is absolutely is what happened.
And that's why
I
he's
think
calling
it's
it El
1000%.
Stupido, and he gets really mad at him
Yep.
when he fucking
Yep.
leaves. He's like,
Yes.
you don't know what you have.
Yep. I think that is. I think the movie is saying that is 1000% the case. It's never going to confirm that. We'll never know for sure.
that's the
But
vampire
that's what
story.
I choose to believe because I feel like that is the better part for the story.
Yes.
Same thing as Let Me In.
But also,
Let Me In.
I thought that character was great. The guy he works for on the farm.
He was.
Angelo.
I also
what
love the
fuck-
fact that even though I put subtitles on, nothing showed up.
Yeah, this can let him.
Oh,
speak to
really?
that, yeah.
Yeah, subtitles didn't work, and they didn't even tell you what the Italian and you couldn't
our
understand.
subtitles
Our
worked.
subtitles worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck? I watched it on.
You should rewatch it with the subtitles.
Did you guys watch it on Tubi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could watch it. I watched it for free on Amazon.
Yeah, it was free
We watched
on
it for free on
Tubi.
Tubi.
No, but they had.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, mine didn't have commercials.
What do you freaking do? It was like 10
I'm just saying that's a
seconds.
better fucking.
Okay, but we
Oh,
also
what would you
had
rather watch it with
subtitles.
commercial? Yeah, see, I didn't get
Commercials.
commercials.
No, yeah. I'd rather watch without commercials for sure. Yeah.
Kermit the Frog here. Commercials.
Oh God. Guys, want to hear what else came out in 2014?
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You sure about that?
I don't think that's a movie.
Yeah. Since Matt's not here tonight, we're not going to get a lot of. I feel like it's going to be a lot of stuff that he'd be like, I saw it.
That's
Yeah.
the fourth time I mentioned.
Listen, I'm not saying because I love Matt. I'm just saying
He
this
does,
is what
it's
he would
okay.
do.
You can say you love Matt.
The heart on
Matt
your
would
pants
love
would
that you
say
said that you-
otherwise.
Yes.
So.
I am as limp as a fucking wrist.
Matt
my
would
friend,
like to
right now.
hear that you miss him and you love him.
Limp
guys,
is whose
the
wrist?
ABC. The guy
Don't answer that. Leave it
All right,
be.
the ABCs of Death 2 came out in 2014, which is a movie that I have not seen, and it's an anthology movie. Anyone? Bueller? Nay.
I think Paul Rudd's in it.
Okay, interesting. We also got Annabelle, the prequel to the comic.
Yes.
Not great. Not
Yeah.
great. Cat As Above, So Below, 2014.
Oh, I love
That's a
that
very good
movie.
movie.
Underrated. It's like a
love
solid
it.
6.5 out of 10.
Especially when you've gone to Paris and you see all that. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking talk about your entitlement more? I've been to Paris. I'm
Entitlement?
just kidding.
I brought
It's a
that
joke.
trip by myself.
I'm kidding.
I would say contender for the best horror movie of the year, The Babadook 14.
Oh, the best
Yep.
by far.
Very tough to. We'll
Are we gonna be buying Bridget?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll reconvene at the end of this, by the way.
a terrible
Cabin Fever, Patient Zero, another Irish horror movie called The Canal. Anyone seen that?
No.
It's supposed to be good. I haven't seen it either. Andrew, 14.
Sure, it's not. Are you sure it's not C anal?
No, it's not
See
C anal.
anal.
It's The Canal.
See anal.
I think it's C anal.
I feel like here's our second contender for movie of the year,
Ape
according
tits.
to YouTube. Between Creep, Andrew. So yeah, Creep. Obviously came out in
Creep's better.
2014.
Yes,
All right,
it's my number one.
We'll reconvene. Deliver Us from Evil, which was a Scott Derrickson movie, the Scott Derrickson movie that got him the job directing. A Girl Walks Home Alone.
No, wait, 2014?
At
He
night.
did, Sinister was like
Ooh.
2011.
That's Sinister
The
was
title
after that.
alone sounds terrifying.
Because my niece was like.
Nope, you know what? You're correct.
2012?
It was a movie he directed after.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
That title alone's terrifying.
Is that starring
all
Jodie
set.
Foster? Because I feel like that's a.
It's not a Jodie Foster movie. It is. I think it's to be a vampire thing. Never seen it.
Sounds.
Oh, that sounds
horrifying.
Hugely popular. So maybe we should check that out.
What? I'm gonna. One more time.
A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
I'm gonna be terrified.
Let's see. I, Frankenstein, which was a movie starring Aaron Eckhart as Frankenstein. Skip It. Another contender for 2014. It Follows. Do you guys still feel? Let me ask you this.
It Follows and the Babadook were out the same year.
It Follows is still better than
No.
Babadook.
Hold, please.
And Annabelle.
Can I ask the question? We talked
And
on the Smile episode that Smile, and at the time, you both said that Smile is better than It Follows. Do you still agree with that statement about 4 months out?
I think It Follows gives a much better nostalgic view of what horror movies should be. I think it's very good. And I actually think it's 1A to Smiles 1.
So your answer is
It Follows is better. 1A to 1B.
Okay, Kat.
In a very different type of way.
I mean, I feel like I need to watch Smile again because I feel like I've watched the way that It Follows resonates with me is because I've seen it so many times too. I've seen Smile, so I feel like I would at least months out. let it sink in more, like watch it again, whatever. But like I can't really.
So
gauge.
without the benefit of having done that, if you had to say so right this second, what's
I think Smile's more creepy. I don't know. They're both creepy.
I think
Which
that's-
movie do you like better, Smile or It Follows? Give me an answer.
Just give an answer.
Give an answer.
It doesn't have to be right.
I think I go
It's
with
an
It
opinion.
Follows for right now.
Okay, thank you. I'm also
Because
going to
I
say It
remember
Follows.
it.
It's a better
It
movie.
is. When you really think about it, there is so much the dread that movie instills.
It's awesome.
Unmistakably good. Like, they fucking nail it in every sense.
It's
a
beautiful.
Great,
It's an awesome movie. It's awesome.
Smile's great. But thinking back,
It Follows came first. Guys, we also got Oculus in 2014, which was Mike Flanagan's first directed movie, which is a pretty decent movie.
The one with the mirror that you get
That's
sucked
correct.
into.
That's
That's
the
actually not. That's actually kind of frightening. Have you ever seen Mirrors
No.
with
No.
Kiefer Sutherland?
No.
It gets really bad reviews, but it's based off of it's a Japanese horror movie. It's a very scary premise. I wish I don't know what the Japanese one's called. I would rather watch. But I thought this movie was pretty scary. I think it's called Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland, and it's not great, but I know that because there's plenty of it's scary.
Okay.
Got some,
Fair enough. Let's see. A couple sequels we got here, guys. Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, and The Purge Anarchy. A pass.
never seen.
Yep. Andrew, Starry Eyes.
Ooh, underrated movie.
Yeah, good movie. Very good.
That's in the top 3.
Have you
Also-
heard
what that's
that
talking about.
Drink Starry?
No. Oh, the Sprite? No.
Also got the remake of The Town That Dreaded Sundown in 2014. Ever seen it?
Yes.
Yep, I have two.
It's fine.
No.
That's all right. Andrew, we also got
Tusk?
two
You say
comedy
Tusk? Did you say
bangers
Tusk?
to end the year 2014. Tusk and What We Do in the Shadows.
So there's a tough one. Which one do you like better?
What We Do in the Shadows. Not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even a question.
I kind of like.
Tusk is a good little movie. Dude, What We Do in the Shadows is fucking fantastic. Like that combined with the series. I mean, obviously they're two different things. But
So
it's awesome.
when I see Tusk, though, I can't help but think that it's pretty much Barbarian.
Yeah, kind of.
It's the same fucking movie.
Yeah, you're
like
not
it's
wrong.
just cool now but it's just the same stupid.
I need to rewatch
horror.
Barbarian too.
It's the same thing as Tusk. It's like this shock horror, and you're like, oh, and then it's not even that shocking.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fucking blowhard, like Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I understand what you're saying. I did.
Is it the best movie ever made?
No.
They make it out like it's some fucking phenomenal movie.
It made it into my top 10 last year. Did it make it into your?
It did, but it was like in the last 50
But
years.
now I hate it.
It's not even in your top 50.
Yeah. No, probably.
No,
Probably
The Mummy is
We'll
like
see.
well ahead of that.
Great answer. Great answer. Oh God, guys, what else do we have on Spring? So I mean, I feel like we were talking about obviously like
That old guy.
we're talking about like the romance, but we're actually talking about like the mythology of what was happening. Right? Who's the main character opposite Ethan?
She might as well have
What was her
been
name?
like Mona Lisa.
Yeah, kind of.
She's
And
like Mona Lisa's
I-
smile. And
I will say, I think when you find out like what the mythology is behind her and like what her deal actually is, it's interesting. It's different, right? I feel like it's
So
kind of cool.
let's back up.
Yeah.
What do we actually find out? So she is a like 2,000-year-old angeling. Like,
who
what
changes
is
with
she-
every pregnancy she has. She takes on the appearance of former lover. Either that. So it's basically like she can have
So
the
she
baby
was an
and
octopus.
exist forever.
She had sex with
so
an
well,
octopus?
that's what I don't understand about it. Like that's a little weird. That's why I was like, well, why is she growing tentacles? Like, are you having sex with said beings?
That's
Or-
weird.
Yeah,
Well, and then
'cause-
she's injecting herself with stem cells, right? Or what is it?
Yeah, it was definitely stem cells, and you've put a big hole in this entire premise for this movie. Yeah, there's a lot of holes that are hard to understand.
Right.
Like, okay, you take on the appearance. That's what I got, was that she takes on the appearance of whoever she fucks and has a child with.
Right.
Yet she's growing tentacles.
And she's
So are you fucking Ursula, or what are you doing?
And like she was
what's going
definitely
on?
meowing, or it was like a cat.
She probably
in that
was meowing.
alleyway. She
I
happens,
mean, that
and she
happens.
was like, meh, meh, like that was, and at first, because I was like, what is she doing? Like she was this like weird sticky.
Yeah, they don't
sticky
really. I don't think
figure.
they thought this through. A little bit. Like I get it. I enjoy the premise, but if you're stating that, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, if you're evolving based on you had sex with you're impregnated, why are you growing tentacles?
Yeah, shouldn't you just have like
Is that
extra,
not
extra limbs?
What should
I
like?
mean,
Are you fucking Ursula? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Right? No.
Right.
They're evolving with the person they have sex with, and yet she has tentacles.
right.
Who are you fucking?
Are you having sex
What
with
monster
a
are you having
squid?
sex with?
Well,
That's
you have to think
the
like
premise.
how many
Squid sex?
like how many different people does she look like, right? Like, or has she been
She
combined?
doesn't look like an octopus.
No.
I can tell you that much.
I mean,
No.
she does at one point, but that's why she's
Yeah,
sticking
when
herself
she
with stem
randomly
cells.
turns. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the thing is she has babies with people, and she evolves and looks into. She looks more like that person
that she
that she had sex with, right?
Which
Isn't
is
that
an
the thing?
octopus.
That's the thing.
So
yes.
why are you having tentacles? What human
I
has
don't know.
tentacles?
Well, see,
That's weird.
here's the thing. I
But
feel
then
like
it only flares up after a certain amount of time. It starts to flare up more.
right. So here's what I'd say. So we're doing a podcast on this movie, so we're picking apart the plot and everything else, right?
I don't think we're picking it apart. I think
Well, no.
It's a pretty common question.
I think we're still
I
trying to
may.
understand it as well. I
Yes,
think
that
that's
too.
kind of part of it, where we're all kind of like just talking about it because we're all trying to understand exactly what happened.
That's the point that I was trying to make, is that I think that even though like there's all this shit happening, I don't think you're meant to know. Like, I feel like they are trying
It
to be
bothers me.
ambiguous on purpose. But I didn't think that detracted from the story. Like, this is one of the few instances where I didn't think I needed to know all the mythology in detail about whatever she was turning into, because I
No.
thought the story was good enough that I didn't necessarily need to know everything about it. I was like, okay, like
You
there's
just
this,
accept it. You're like,
there's
okay,
this weird shit
yeah.
happening. She turns into a tentacled monster. That's cool by itself. I don't need to know why it's happening. I thought it was cool anyway. So, okay, yeah, whatever. It's happening. So that was my thought. I mean, I don't know. You?
My thought was it made no sense.
Yeah.
Right, no, I get that. Because it was, I feel like it,
You saw tentacles,
This sounds-
and you got tentacle eyes.
No.
And you're like, oh.
I mean, I don't mean to be pretentious, but I feel like it's the type of movie like they don't really care if you know what's going on. I feel like you're not meant to know what's going on.
I think they're banking on the fact that nobody knows what's. And then if you do know what's going on, they don't want you to watch because then you're like, there's tentacle monsters.
Right.
No, I'm just joking. No, I'm just saying like if that's what pretentious people are saying, then they can go fuck themselves. Like, oh, you don't. Not supposed. That sounds like an excuse for having a bad plot, which doesn't make any sense. Oh, well, it's ambiguous. Yeah, it's like the fucking New Yorker cartoon in Seinfeld. Well, what does this mean? Oh, it's a commentary. Yeah, it's a fucking nonsense. You don't know what it means. You're just making shit up trying to tell me that this is important. Like, let's not get too pretentious. Like, your movie's cool, but it's not a fucking statement on, like, they're like, oh, it's about climate change. No, it's about some fucking succubus eating people and having fucking gonorrhea on her leg.
That actually...
Like, what are we fucking watching?
So, that actually, I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but succubus might be maybe the close interpretation of what she actually is.
She a demon. She's sucking a lot of
Well,
pussies.
the succubus is I'm taking your seed and then either making myself
She's
anew.
using that
Okay,
to
what was she doing?
transform
That's
herself.
a succubus.
Right.
That's what she was
She
doing.
is a
Yeah,
succubus.
I
Yeah.
guess.
So,
Which is weird because that makes me wonder, Squidward. Like, who the fuck?
makes me
Squidward.
wonder.
Yeah, she has these tentacles. She's fucking Squidward or something.
Oh, it makes me wonder. Ding, 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 ding.
We should put a bow on.
Yeah, I would say anything else about.
We all agree that she was fucking the. She was used to have relations with the old dude on the farm.
Yeah, I like I said earlier.
Yeah, I think
I
we
feel
all
like that-
agree with
a
that,
fact.
which I think that
Yeah.
must have. I want to know if Matt thinks. I kind of want to.
I believe that.
We should have Matt's abridged version next week.
Oh my god, how many times are you gonna talk about Matt?
I've actually talked about Matt almost as much as you have. Because
Oh,
I
yeah?
talk about Matt whenever you talk about Matt. So actually, Matt's been talked about a lot.
Not
You
that
just said his
time.
name 8,000 times.
Yeah, right.
so.
All right, guys, what else?
Sorry,
what else we
Matt.
got? It's okay.
Yeah, it's just saying. I
Solid,
miss him I
entertaining
miss him as well.
love
I miss
story.
him as well.
Yeah,
It was a sci-fi love story.
yeah, a weird love story for sure.
Very well done.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. As I thought it was a
It's not a horror movie.
well done story. There are horror elements, but I would not call it a movie. But again,
Correct.
I think worthy of discussing on this show,
Yes.
given the directors and the plot of the movie happened.
And it is.
It has
It
sprung yet
again.
again.
It has sprung yet again. And why don't we end on that? It has sprung yet again.
Yet again.
All right, guys. Well, it's been another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks so much for checking back. If you are interested in checking back in with us next week, you can find us wherever you're listening to: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and probably a bunch of other. That's probably all kinds of pod platforms. Just, hey, search for us. You'll find us. Kat, Andrew, you've been my co-hosts, and I certainly appreciate all your banter, interaction, feedback, and fun stuff. Guys, say goodbye to your audience. Good evening.
Good evening. Adios, muchachos.
Go fuck yourself.
Bye. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.